Good morning. This is Chair French, and I am convening today's regularly scheduled business meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission for Thursday, February 4th. We apologize for the late start. There were a couple of technical glitches, but we are live and streaming now. And I'm joined by my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Duffy and Commissioner Keene. On today's agenda, we have 15 consent agenda items, one noticed item, and one discussion item. We will begin with today's consent agenda. Commissioners, you have had the opportunity to read and review the proposed orders on today's consent agenda. Are there any questions? And I will start with Commissioner Keene.
None for me, thank you.
And Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions, and I move approval of the consent agenda items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the items on the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion of the consent agenda? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. The consent agenda and the items on it are approved. We will now move to our noticed item. This is in docket number 15 GIMX 344 GIV. And this is a proposed order on knock and collect pilot program. And our presenter for this item is Mr. Phoenix Anschutz. Phoenix?
Good morning.
Morning.
Much like my order on Tuesday, this order is quite lengthy, so I will just hit the high notes for everybody. On February 26, 2015, the Commission issued an order adopting staff's recommendation and opening a general investigation wherein the Commission opened an investigation regarding the appropriateness and effects of eliminating the knock and collect requirement of the Commission's billing standards prior to disconnection of utility service. Following comments from parties, staff, CURB, Evergy, and Southern Pioneer moved the Commission for the creation of a pilot program to temporarily waive the knock and collect requirements. In August 2017, that order was approved, whereby a pilot program was created for Southern Pioneer and Evergy, where they would be able to waive the knock and collect requirements. In place of those, though, the program implemented new procedures for notice that those utilities would have to provide to customers. As part of the pilot program, Evergy and Southern Pioneer were required to submit biannual compliance reports. And to date, all compliance reports have been submitted by those parties. On June 18, 2020, Kansas Gas Service filed a motion to be added to the pilot program. The conditions for KGS joining the pilot program were exactly those of Evergy and Southern Pioneer, with the exception that because KGS does not have the ability to remotely disconnect customers, it was given the opportunity to provide cost support to reinstate its existing disconnect and reconnect fees at the end of the pilot program. On December 15, 2020, Evergy staff, CURB, and Southern Pioneer filed recommendations regarding the pilot program. All parties recommended ultimate approval of a permanent waiver for Evergy and Southern Pioneer, applicable beyond the pilot program only for those customers with AMI meters who were able to be remotely disconnected. The order goes into great detail regarding some of the benefits that were seen during the period of the pilot program. But again, for the sake of brevity, I think I'll just leave those in the order for the public to read. This order before you reviews the Section 6 of the Commission billing standards, which provides the procedure for requesting a waiver. And a waiver can be requested and granted upon a showing that compliance with the requirement, in this case, the knock and collect requirement, would not serve the interests of either the utility or the customer. After review, this order determines that compliance does not serve the best interests of Evergy, Southern Pioneer, or their customers, and therefore grants the waiver, the permanent waiver of the knock and collect requirement to Southern Pioneer and Evergy. Again, there's a lot of information in the order, but I think that it probably does a good enough job of letting the public know where it stands generally. With that, I would stand for any questions commissioners may have.
Thank you, Phoenix. We'll start with Commissioner Keene. Any questions?
None for me, thank you.
Commissioner Duffy.
Yes, no questions, but comments. We do not very often go into the billing standards and make changes. It's very rare when we do. And when we do it with utmost care. The fact that this docket has been open for 5 years lends itself to, well, we've had a long time to review the effects of this waiver on the public. And I am satisfied that the effects of the waiver will offset the negativity of not being able just to collect at the door, which in today's world does not seem very practical or safe. And the fact that not only can they disconnect remotely, they can just as easily, the company can reconnect within minutes. And the fact that there are other ways to make payment rather than cash. And the other item I note is that the resident will receive multiple notices before any disconnect occurs. And the notices will be received in the manner in which the resident has asked to be notified, whether that's by telephone or whether that's by text or email. I believe staff and the companies and Curve have walked around this issue backwards and forwards several times to ensure that the protection of the resident and I would also say the energy worker has been satisfied in terms of the new method that we're putting in place. So I applaud everyone's efforts on this. I was surprised to find out that really we are the only state that has such an extensive knock and collect. And I think this will be a much improved system. I would also say that while this was not central to the docket, why are we having to do a knock and collect? And that's because 23% of our households, their income is at or below the federal poverty guidelines. And they pay 3 times more energy costs proportionately to their income. This is an issue that I believe we need to continue to review and come up with good suggestions. And I am glad that the companies have agreed that we will further this discussion at another time. So I would like to thank everybody's efforts. And Phoenix, I would like to compliment you on the very granularity of your, as it unfolds, the entire 5-year history is embodied in your order, and I appreciate your efforts in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, Commissioner Duffy. Do we have a motion to approve the proposed order?
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the proposed order in this docket. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the proposed order, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order passes and is approved. And now we will move to item number 3, and this is a discussion item with potential action. It is a Federal Energy Regulatory Commission matter, and our presenter today is Mr. Michael Neely. Michael?
Morning, thank you.
Morning.
On January 29th, 2021, Southern Star Central Gas Pipeline filed revised tariff sheets at FERC reflecting an update to their Capital Cost Recovery Mechanism, or CRM, that was approved via settlement in their 2019 rate case. The Commission's technical staff was involved in the 2019 proceedings, and they intervened in last year's CRM docket to audit and monitor Southern Star's annual filing. This is the second year of their CRM tracker filing. And again, the staff would like to intervene to monitor the situation. We have reached out to Jason Gray, who is our DC counsel, and he's willing to make the requisite intervention filing. And so with that, I would just request the commission authorize our DC counsel to file for dockless intervention in RP 21-432.
Thank you, Mr.
And I'll take any
Neely.
questions.
Are there any questions or discussion on this item? And I will start with Commissioner Keen.
None for me, thank you.
Commissioner Duffy?
None for me, and I move adoption. Is that, or adopting, or requesting that
Yeah.
staff file on our behalf?
Yes, and I actually have the written motion in front of me that they're suggesting. If you'd like, I can make that. And that it is a motion that the commission authorize our DC council to file dockless intervention in FERC docket number RP 21-432 and make any other filings as necessary to protect the interests of Kansas ratepayers. And I believe that is the motion that Commissioner Duffy made. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second to authorize DC council to file the described dockless intervention. Is there any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, those in favor of the motion, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved and that action is authorized. We have now reached the end of today's agenda. Are there any other matters to come before the commission this morning?
I do. I have one.
Mr. Duffy?
Go Chiefs, run it back. Let's bring home second Super Bowl win.
I almost wore my cap this morning and I talked myself
You
out.
should have. I've got my red and white Christmas lights back on.
Go Chiefs. All right. Hearing no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the business meeting. Those in favor, please vote aye.
aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank